When I came the first time to watch English football, I had the feeling that people were happy at the game. It's a feast, you know, they come there to be happy. In 15 years, you transformed an old-fashioned league into a world league because you had an innovative approach. I think I'm completely logical with what I think, and the England national team, English managers, English players, with my support. Sometimes you are really honest when you say, I didn't see it, but nobody believes me anymore when I am honest. You go drive home on Saturday night and you think, people who love this club tonight, they have a happy night. You know? Somewhere you feel you have not lost your week.
Invited in here.
Yes. Unless you want to sign a contract, you could be invited in here. This afternoon.
The only thing I noticed was something missing.
When you first came over to England, you, correct me if I'm wrong here, you seemed much more dispassionate, and maybe you brought some of that Japanese control from Grand Crusade, and it felt like you were much more controlled on the touchline, whereas now you're much more animated and much more emotional. Did something happen, or is that just over time you've decided to let it out a bit more?
No, I feel when you start a job somewhere, you're always more relaxed, you know, and because you have a good distance, you just come in, you have not all the pressure that slowly gets into you, and slowly you're sucked in that. I try to convince myself sometimes that it's only football, but then again that doesn't last a long time because I want to be successful in what I do, and because you want to do as well you can as probably anybody who works in a job, you know, and you always feel you don't dedicate enough time to that because you always feel you could do more.
You must have a wife and a daughter. You must have a very understanding family, I think.
Yes, yeah. I'm lucky on that front because, like for every passionate people, I believe that people who suffer are people who live with them.
Mark Hateley, striker you had at Monaco, said that we would never figure you out. There was always a piece of Arsene Wenger that he couldn't understand. Now that may have just been Mark, but we see?
Not only Mark, that's me as well.
But do we see the real Arsene Wenger? Because when you're caught post-match in that high-pressure environment, that isn't. Do the English public really see the real Arsene Wenger, or is there another side we don't see?
No, there's always when you speak in a post-match interview, you speak already again to your players, to your fans. And most of the time you have already prepared yourself to face the different questions and not to be too alarmist. And sometimes through patches you can lose it, you know. You cannot believe that nobody saw it from the bench, we were all blind. He didn't deserve to be sent off and that the referee has been cheating.
That's strong words to say that they're lying, that they didn't see it.
Of course they lie. But sometimes after the game, you are as well only human beings, and sometimes you are upset by decisions that go against you, and you do not always control your reactions.
Money's never been your motivation, you've often said that. So you've never wanted the checkbook that Manchester United and Chelsea. It doesn't affect your team's performance particularly. Is it because it doesn't give you the satisfaction if you can just buy a
I feel that the job of a manager is to do as well. If I lose every year 150 million pounds, the club goes nowhere, you know, the club is bankrupt. And I think the target of a real good manager is to achieve success with what is available. You would like to think that at Newcastle, at Aston Villa, at Arsenal, you work only with the funds that have been created by your natural potential. And natural potential I call sponsorship, gates, TV money. And all the rest should not be allowed.
Cause a few problems somewhere?
Well, maybe, but at the moment it's not like that.
And he's gone for it, Mendes! And Carroll is back! Oh my goodness me, it's in, surely! Surely Spurs have scored!
You've always been a great advocate of using technology during matches. That doesn't seem like it's going to happen now. FIFA seem to have put the lid on that for a while.
Well, there again, I would love FIFA to have much more an innovative approach, because I believe as well, when you love football, you want justice to be done as much as possible. You cannot accept anymore that a game is watched by 1 billion people. Everybody sees that there is goal, just the referee doesn't see it and you cannot help him. And that's unfair. And it's not, I personally think it would give the referee more credit and more respect.
Michel Platini, your countryman, suggesting now we have more assistant referees on the goal line. Is that the answer, or is it just somebody else?
I believe it could add more confusion as well. And if you need 5 people to decide, why not replace it by one machine and one guy behind the machine who can just say, it works so well in rugby. But you could already give better examples that cheating is not rewarded. And I believe somewhere that elite football has that responsibility, rather than saying Maradona has scored with his hand and he got away with it, rather saying, no, I'm sorry, that was a handball. And the guy says, yes, goal has not been given. Because after people say, yeah, you see, but they win the World Cup by doing that, so I can do it as well. People say, who are against the video, yes, out of 100 mistakes, you will get it a few times wrong. But instead of making 50 mistakes, if you make only 20, you already improved the problem.
Now, is it your background? I don't know if people know that you've got a degree in engineering and a master's degree in economics. So is that fascination of measures and numbers, is this what really draws you to player analysis? I
like football and I like to know more, and we have big responsibilities to pick the team, because we have every time, I don't know how many 100,000 people who pick the team as well. So on this program, performance index, you have the passing quality of the player. And you can say if a player, for example, wins in every game more balls than another player, is defensively good. So because that's not a coincidence.
So would you sign or drop a player based on the information that managers now receive?
I would not sign a player on that, but I could drop a player on that.
Is it true you once studied a match for 7 hours?